Recording started. Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's the middle of January already. I can't believe it. It's going so fast, and I've had some conversations lately. I've had 2 networking meetings so far this month. I'm a part of a networking group called Polka Dot Powerhouse, and then I also joined a networking group called eWomen Network because I had a goal this year to just really connect as much as possible to different people, different relationships, with no ulterior motive, but just to connect and just feel fulfilled with the relationships that I have. But I was saying to a lot of them, even at church, that there's a lot of pressure, I think, that comes with a new year, right? We talk about resolutions, we talk about goals, what's your word? I mean, there just can be a lot of pressure that comes with that. And I don't know about you guys, but some mornings I wake up. This morning was key. I woke up this morning, I was in such a dead sleep, and I'm not even kidding. I was like, what day is it? What do I have to do? What's going on today? Do you guys ever feel that way? Because we sleep so well. Yeah. And then you wake up in a panic. And I'm just telling myself, like, I think we have to find that outlet that helps us get rid of that anxiety and stress. And I think for me, it's got to be some kind of physical activity. Otherwise, it just can feel overwhelming. So with it already being midway through January, I have some announcements for you guys, and then I'm going to have Sheila talk, but it's just really on my heart to where I hope you guys are very mindful of not allowing yourself to feel overwhelmed. Like, really make sure that you are intentional with every day that's going forward. Like having a calendar, having it written out, taking a look at what needs to be done, taking a look at the calendar on a Sunday and saying, what do I want to accomplish in this week? And when I lay my head down on my pillow on Monday night, how do I want to feel? What do I want to have done? Because if we don't do that, I don't know about you, but like there's nights already where I lay my head down and I'm like, I didn't get done what I wanted to get done. But also just to be really present and enjoy your life while you're going through it. I just want it to be joyful for you guys. So some of the announcements. So one of them is Vitality Living. We have Vitality Hustle and we have Vitality Living. And I'm really hoping that you guys relay this message to your teams and other people within our group. Vitality Living is for customers and for prospects. I use it for prospects as well. I use it for prospects that have seen the ABC report and that are just looking for more information, more belief, and then I'll add them on there. When you are putting someone onto Vitality Living, text your Pro 5 or up. You can always text me as well. I may not get it right away, but I will get to it, I promise. And what happens is when you add them to Vitality Living, someone needs to approve it. Once they are approved, the person that you added will get a message that they've been added to the group, and then they have to accept it. Once you put them on there, though, make sure that you tag them on the announcement post. The announcement post is at the very top, and Michelle wrote out a whole description of our products. And tell them, welcome them to the group, and tell them start here, and then tag them on some other posts that are in alignment with their story. So just make sure that when you bring someone on, you guys, new distributor, make that very clear to them, because it's not a good resource to use if we're not tagging them and we're not letting someone know once we put someone on there. Really make sure you follow through with the whole process. Now, when it comes to posting, right? When we post something and we want interaction, Sheila, I'm so glad that you texted me this week, because I made a post on Team Act and I talked about the fact that Sean and Michelle have a Pro 5 and up WhatsApp group. And anytime, Michelle's very good about it. If she posts something, she asks for our interaction. Because if you get interaction on your post, then you're going to get more eyes on it, supposedly, with the Facebook algorithm. The Facebook algorithm thing makes me crazy. Like, I don't want to hear about algorithms anymore. I just want to be good to people and have relationships. but it's talk. Okay. That's what people talk about. So it is what it is. But so they ask people to comment on their posts. And that's a great thing, because if people are commenting on your post, then there's a chance that more people that you know and are friends with on Facebook will see the post. Now, you're not all on that group. So please utilize Team Act and be unafraid, and do not worry. None of us are going to judge. If you have a post and you feel really good about that post and it has something to do with a business or a product testimony or just something you want to build traction on, or it's hair pictures, go into Team Act and say, hey, I just made a post about, would love some interaction, would love your comments. Thank you so much. And I promise you, I will do it, and I know other people will do it. Here's the thing. I'm at my networking meeting today, and the gal that runs it, she is a bigwig in Arbonne. I love her. She's an amazing woman. And so we're catching up at the beginning, and she starts talking about like her insecurities a little bit. And I don't know how we got into it. It came very naturally. She's like, but you know what? She goes, your posts inspire me, and they just make me feel like I just need to let go of it and I shouldn't worry about it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's super sweet, but I didn't know you even saw my posts. Like, I don't see her liking them, loving them, commenting ever. And that's fine. But if she sees them, it would make me feel so good to know that she saw it and that it meant something to her. So then I'm thinking to myself, when I take the time and I go on Facebook and I'm in the scroll hole and I'm looking at people's posts, how often have I read one and had a notion, or maybe not, and then just let it go by? And I know that person, and that's not cool. So I just wanted to say that we should stop being not cool and be supportive. Like, if you're going to use Facebook and you're going to be on Facebook and you see people posting, give them the courtesy of just loving on them. Like it or love it. Or if it speaks to you, make a quick comment. It takes seconds. Just takes seconds. Because being real here, I don't even want to say this, but whatever. Like, I've seen people's posts on Facebook and I'll read it, and then I'm like in the judgment mode. Like, oh, and then I do nothing. I don't comment. I don't like love. I go right past it. And that is not okay. It is not okay. And so here's my next point. One of my devotionals this week from She Works His Way was amazing. It talked about piñatas, okay? When you have a piñata at a birthday party and the child breaks the piñata, they're working really hard. Sometimes it takes multiple people to break the piñata. But once it's broken, it's typically broken by one person. And is it just that one person that then gets all of the candy that comes out of the piñata? No. Everybody gets to have some of the candy from the piñata, from the work that one person did. And it's the same philosophy for us in life. Is if there is someone in your life that is succeeding and working hard, and they break open this piñata because of everything that they've done, it is our job. I mean, God wants us to edify them and support them and raise them up and lift them and be so happy for them, because what they've done can have a ripple effect on your life, especially if you're supporting them and encouraging them and being inspired by what they've done, taking a piece of their candy and getting fulfillment from that. So let's be a part of women's and men's and other people's piñatas. Like, just support. I'm just encouraging you. Don't be that person. You know who else? I'll never forget this. I was at a round table at an elite academy. Like, I won some luncheon, and Gabe and Jill Pearson were at our table. And I was like, don't tell me. I'm like, there are plenty of people on Facebook that are just scrolling and they see a live going on, but they don't get on the live to participate, because God forbid someone sees them on the live and sees them on Facebook during the day and not doing something else. And Gabe was like, yeah, I've done that. Like, he called himself out too. Enough. Like, it just, Are you with me? Like, it doesn't make sense. If you see someone go live, that takes a lot of flipping courage. And if you're on Facebook, when they go live, screw it. If someone sees you on there, big deal. They're seeing you on there because they're on Facebook too. So just expose yourself and support them and encourage them and be inspired by it. And it's the same thing when you're scrolling. So and I know, like, a lot of us don't even see each other's posts. I don't see a lot of your guys' posts unless I'm told, because of the stupid algorithm. I don't know how it works, but I don't see a lot of them. And lately I'm more intentional in trying to go and be intentional with those people that I don't see, that are not a part of my group, that maybe I want to have them a part of my group, like really enhancing those relationships. So I hope you get my point. I'm just saying, if you're going to take the time to be on Facebook, be an encourager. So before you get on there, tell yourself, I am going to be a part of this piñata party, and I am going to be a strong encourager for everyone that I see and notice on Facebook. Let's just make that a pact that we do that. Okay. And then, so there was the challenge of 5 messages a day through Messenger. They did like a 7-day challenge. Michelle is extending that into a 21-day challenge, which I think is a great thing. A lot of you at your churches right now may be doing like a 21-day prayer, 21-day fasting. There's a lot of that happening. So with the 21 days, and it could start tomorrow for you. Don't worry if you haven't done it so far. But I really would encourage you to make this a part of your daily method of operation, because it does not have to take a long time. I have been doing it with women that are in my networking group, and I'm filling my calendar just with coffee meetings with no agenda, just to connect, right? So it's just a quick message, looking through your friends list, and then people you haven't connected with in a long time, just checking in and saying, hey, I just was going through my friends list. We haven't talked in a long time. Wanted to say Happy New Year. How are you? Right? Takes seconds. Or going through Messenger and seeing people that maybe you started a conversation once upon a time, but you didn't follow through with it, or it just kind of ended. And just popping back and saying, hey, we really never finished our conversation in 2016. How are things going? Or if someone has a birthday, saying happy birthday. The intention is to start conversations with people, not to make a sale, not to prospect them, just to start a conversation, and to do that with 5 people a day or more. You just have to be careful. If you're doing it with probably over 10 or more, Facebook might flag it and, think that you're spamming people. So that is a challenge right now. And that challenge is talked about on Vitality Hustle, not Vitality Living for Customers, but Vitality Hustle, where the pros usually post their promotions. So people are going on there. They've announced if they've got 5 for the day, if they had success with a new connection, whatever it may be. But I really want to encourage you guys to do this, because what it does is it really gives you a lot of gratification and a lot of joy in just having those simple conversations and using the voice messaging as much as you possibly can. I just think the voice messaging goes a really long way. It's just a little microphone. Hold it down with your thumb. You get about a minute to talk, so sometimes you have to send a few. People always 100% listen to those. Always, they listen to those. If you type something, it's going to show you they saw it, and then maybe you don't get a reply right away, and it's going to drive you nuts. Don't take it personally. We've all done it, right? Life is just happening. But at least go ahead and start making those connections. 21 days, and I'm going to keep talking about that as well. And then along with that, maybe finding some groups for yourself to join. If you are where I was at and you're looking to build new contacts, new relationships, maybe look for some groups on Facebook to where you can start interacting with people. I'm currently interacting with a woman in Germany from a group that I'm a part of, with just encouraging and inspiring women. It's been a ton of fun. Just little things like that, or groups within your community. Getting out, whether it's hobby related or networking related, just getting yourself out, because it does so much for us internally and with our confidence. And then the last thing before we go to Sheila is the app. So Sean just told us today that the technology team has it set up so that on your app, when you open it, so open it tonight just to see, because it's the 15th, after auto ships have gone out, if you have anyone you've directly enrolled as far as a customer and their auto ship did not go out for some reason, you will get a card, like a deck of cards in our app. It'll be a card that says Sheila Powell's auto ship did not go out. Sean said he already got one in his deck and informed the customer, and the customer right away, her credit card had expired and she replaced her order. So that's super exciting that we're going to get those notifications rather than having to go through everyone in our back office. So make sure you go into your app, and then secondarily, make sure you go to your general settings, find LifeVantage on the list of your apps, and then click on LifeVantage and make sure your notifications are on, so that if you get one of those cards or one of those notifications, you'll know about it right away instead of forgetting to check the app. Okay, so lastly, Sean Poe went to, where do you live, Sheila? Went to Oregon, somewhere in Oregon, I think Central Point, and totally deserving. Like, Rich and Sarah have been working so hard in their area. They built an amazing, amazing team. Sheila got to be a part of that weekend. Sheila and her husband, Michael, now live in the Central Point area as well. And I just really wanted her to share with us just some of her takeaways from the weekend of how it felt. But I wanted to start with too, you guys. Sheila's really never had the opportunity to speak on our call. And I know she's got a beautiful testimony. Sheila and her husband, Michael, are both in the business. Michael's a chiropractor, and her daughter, Jessica, is in the business as well. Her son-in-law, Caleb, is in the business. So they've really made it a beautiful family affair. And Sheila's just one of those beautiful, amazing spirits that I've been able to witness, like self-belief, just like for all of you, right? And I know she's got a long way to go, as do we all. I know this is something that's nervous for her to talk on this call, but it's just, you're in a very safe place, Sheila. Like, we all love you, adore you. And if you just come from your heart, that's all that we can ask. And I am looking Stella. Oh, I just looked at myself. Oh, that's what you get for lighting in your car. Okay, Sheila, so unmute yourself.
All right.
Yay.
I'm here.
Okay. Hi. So Sheila, start by sharing with us your testimony.
Okay. Well, LifeVantage came to me in 2017, totally unexpected. I wasn't looking for anything. I was very happy and content in my life. I had a beautiful job at my church that I loved. And it came through my husband, actually. One of his good friends, who is also a chiropractor, sent some information and asked us to look at it. And neither one of us were at all interested. We had an idea of what it might be, and it just wasn't, we've been down the road of network marketing in the past, and we kind of wrote it off as something we weren't at all interested in doing. Again, we didn't have the best experiences, and so we ignored it and didn't really follow through with anything, didn't look at it. And then after a period of time, he took a different approach. I had built a relationship with his office manager because we help each other out with chiropractic billing issues. And she started writing me and sending me videos and stuff. And I tried to ignore them for a little while. And she just continued to kind of just every once in a while just feed me an email. And I was sitting on the phone one time on hold with an insurance company, and I'm just scrolling through all my emails, and I just thought, I'm just going to look at that little video while I'm sitting here on hold. And I popped up a video, I think it was the ABC video, and I was surprised what I saw. And so it intrigued me enough that when I finished my call, I started digging. I started doing some research. I'm Googling and I'm looking around, and I see these YouTube videos that popped up, and I just started watching them. And I probably sat there and watched like 6 different videos on YouTube. And I was the whole time as I'm watching them, some of them were testimonies, and I'm just thinking about all the friends I have that I knew I mean, maybe they could benefit. I mean, I have friends with Lyme's disease, friends with MS, friends with Parkinson's, I have friends and dementia and all these things. And so as I'm watching these videos, I'm just going, what if it could help someone that I love? And so my husband got home from work that evening and I said, sweetie, I think you need to look at this. I think you need to. And so I pulled up one of the videos and showed him, and he was just as surprised as I was. And then I showed him another one, and we sat there and watched videos all night long. And then we went in and we called the doctor that first introduced it, and we said, okay, how do we get involved? We've got people, we know we want to try to help, and how do we get in there? And so he was on vacation in Southern California at the time, but he put us in touch with Rich, who was his enroller, and Rich signed us up right there that evening. And we just started sharing like crazy. So I made all the typical mistakes. I didn't know anything about how to share, and I just started spamming all those people that were coming to my mind while I was watching those videos. I sent instant messages. I mean, I probably sent about 30 instant messages that evening sitting in my chair. And most of them never got a single response. People just thought I was spamming them. I mean, they didn't even respond to them, which is very frustrating. But that's how we got started. And I wasn't even thinking about the products for myself at the time because I was pretty healthy. I didn't really have any, my health was good. But when we got our platinum pack, it comes with a lot of products. So I started taking them anyway. And I was really shocked. My hot flashes started decreasing. My inflammation in my hands, because I had been dealing with trigger fingers and stuff, started going away. And my energy started improving, and my sleep was incredible. I had terrible insomnia at the time. So I was just really surprised what it was doing for me, even though I didn't think I needed it. And so I'm a total believer, and I will take it forever. And so then obviously I wanted to get my whole family on it. So I wanted my kids to take it. So I sent some to my kids and then used up my whole platinum pack. And they went through the month and they said, well, why did we even take that? I mean, that did nothing. But they're young, they're 20, So anyway, but I convinced them to keep taking it. And then they eventually decided to get into business with me.
And now you're at a point where you're working towards Pro 5.
Yes.
Very, very close.
Yes. So out of all my sharing on Facebook, I didn't get just a whole lot from the instant messages, but I started talking to people in my, my local friend group and stuff locally. And I did 2 home meetings that month. And out of the 2 home meetings, I hit Pro 3.
That is amazing. And I remember, Sheila, too, like you've been very good at that third-party validation. Like, letting myself or Rich or other people know that you're talking to someone and having that third-party validation come in too. That's always a big key too, right? Not leaning on your own understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I rely heavily on the videos when I didn't have the confidence to try to explain what it does. So I just use the videos, and I still use the videos a lot. I don't really try to say a whole lot. Yeah. I just, I've got something you need to see, and would you be willing to watch this video?
Perfect. Yeah, I know somebody just recently had said to me via text, or like, yeah, I'm so excited to get going again because they've been kind of off the grid for a little while. And I just said to them, I'm like, just go back and do exactly what you did in the beginning. And then I thought to myself, it's us. We need to remember the basics and what we did when we first got in. We just said, hey, if I send you this ABC report, would you take time to look at it? Okay, great. Well, what's a good time for you? Well, I'm not going to send it until you can look at it. And then when we knew they were going to look at it, we'd send out a text and say, okay, I've got somebody watching the video in a half hour who can help me with third-party validation. Those are the steps. Like, just getting back to that. I don't remember the last time in a while that I've gotten, well, Katie did just the other day, wanting that third-party validation. It's just those simple steps that we cannot forget, because there are so many tools out there for us that are available, but to share someone's story, whether through Vitality Living or just to get someone on the phone, it just goes a really long way. And then sometimes that third person has a chance to help you make the close maybe a little quicker than it would happen otherwise as well. So
Right.
Sheila, you guys have had the ability to, because Rich has done such a good job at getting trainers coming into Oregon and helping you guys. And I know that you've shown up to all of them. You've been at Global Academy, Elite Academy. What was it like this weekend having Sean come out there for you and your team?
It was incredible. It was incredible. And just to have so many people from my team show up and, you know, and be there. And we had people that drove all the way from Olympia, Washington. And where else? We had some, I think some people drove over from Idaho and things like that. So people came from a long ways to hear Sean Poe. And the energy in the room was just incredible. I mean, Sean's amazing. He's an amazing speaker. He has such a passion and such an energy about him. And it was just very motivating, I think, for everybody. And just, we heard a lot of the stuff we've heard before, a lot of the stuff that's on onepersonbigdifference.net, you know, and the training stuff. But just to hear it, you know, from him personally and see his energy and his passion and everything, it's just incredible. I mean, Sean's just a great guy. And I think my whole team just felt like, well, nobody regretted coming. No one regretted getting up in the early hours and driving all the way down for that, because everyone left just a little more motivated and ready to, I mean, some of them had to restart their business that have really been kind of on sabbatical. But they were just excited when they left. And so they all were very happy they came to hear Sean.
Yeah, it's so easy to go into those sometimes, I think, thinking, you know, we're going to hear the same thing, or we've heard Sean before, but it never fails. Once you go, that's how we become experts. That's how we become very savvy with the products and the business, is you have to hear it over and over again. You have to have that so that your tool belt's fully equipped. So I just think
not only
so
that,
awesome.
but sometimes you pick up something that you didn't really pick up before, you know, because some of those things, you know, as he was saying them, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember hearing that before, but totally forgot about it, you know. So it was just good reminders and good motivation, and definitely worthwhile.
That's awesome. Sheila, you did really good.
Well, thank you.
And you speak very clearly, very eloquently. I thought it was awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And then I don't know what happens if you guys, I don't know how you guys are seeing me right now, but Kevin Nee was also there as well. And he was so sweet. He sent me some of his notes, some of his takeaways. And here, I just wanted to read some of them to you. He says, my biggest takeaway was how great an opportunity that we have our hands on. I was very much re-inspired, and the guests that I brought were inspired too. I brought 2 different guests, and they both saw the value of the opportunity and are attracted to it. One of the guests met Sean, asked him a business question regarding our patents on our products, and Sean was able to immediately answer him. He said, that's something I wouldn't have been able to do. Amazing third-party validation. He said, Sean shared many company and product details, which furthered my knowledge of the business. And a really great additional benefit was that we learned about some other creative methods by which some of our business partners are reaching out. He said Sean was clear and confident, persuasive. And he said, really a powerful thing was Sean said, life is messy. And he said, my immediate thought to this was that things happen in everyone's life that can distract us and pressure us to move away from our goals, hopes, and dreams. And I need to remember this is not only for my own life, to be patient with my business partners that go through the same thing. He said Sean talked about life getting messy, and that he talked about life got messy for his family this year, and he was thankful that he had enough time and freedom that they could handle the situation well. And then Kevin went on to explain too, just the culture and how warm and friendly Sean was, how professionally was on stage, and then once he got off stage, just being really warm and inviting to everybody, and kind of being that friend that you want to have beside you, and just reminding him of just the beautiful culture that we have at LifeVantage, and just why he feels so fond of being a part of it. And again, it goes back to the events, you guys, LifeVantage Academy being this weekend, Charleston coming up. Those events, as much as we can tell ourselves that it's hard, I can't get there, and sometimes life happens and you can't. But once you get there, it's something we all need. Every time that it happens, we need it in some way. And we always leave inspired, just like Sheila said with her and her team at their event as well. Every Tuesday morning, I go and I work at my church offices. And our pastor this morning shared from a book something about leaders. And in it, they talked about how there's a snake, and how not a lot of people like snakes, and snakes aren't a warm, fuzzy creature, and they're really only going to get close to you unless they want to eat you. And then dogs, and how dogs are just so friendly and warm and nurturing, and they're always happy to see you. And how it's so easy to allow ourselves to become overwhelmed, and then we tell ourselves that life is hard, and maybe our situation is overtaking us, and we just don't feel equipped for it. And we feel like we're being taken down. Like the snake is really getting the best of your mindset. And I was sitting there going, are you talking to me? Because I feel like this message is for me. Because just yesterday, like I had that day. You guys ever have those days where you're just like, I don't want to hear positivity. I don't want to talk anything positive because life just sucks right now. And it's hard. But then to hear this, and then they said, you want the dog, the good dog, to overtake it, and just allow yourself to find joy in the messiness and not get caught up in the hard, not get caught up in how bad it is, but know that it's for a reason, to grow from it, to just don't let the snake have room in your mindset. Basically, we've all heard the good wolf, bad wolf analogy as well. It was kind of that same thing. So I guess I wanted that to kind of encompass this entire call too. Just as fast as time goes, and as much pressure as we can sometimes feel being a part of this industry and this business, just really make sure you're doing the best for you to get through your day with peace of mind, knowing that what needed to be done, you gave it that amount of time. Because more often than not, the stuff that we need to get done doesn't have to take a lot of time. We just continually put it off, so that by the time we finally do it, we're like, oh, that took forever. When in fact, it really didn't. You just didn't do it when you were supposed to, right? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that is all I have. Let's end in prayer, you guys. I'll end the recording here real fast. It's so weird doing this on my phone, but I'm so grateful I can do it on my phone.